Mm-hmm.
Is it okay if we have some water? Because we're playing spies.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Going live. Tap Film Production House. 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 Oh, my keyboards. Backwards. Keyboard, backwards, keyboard. Backwards, keyboard. Backwards, keyboard. Backwards, keyboard. What up? Checking connection. Check. Checking connection. Yo, what is going on? The real Marcoux. Yo! Woo, woo, woo. What's that? Pan. Tilt. Pan, pedestal. Truck. What's up, Kevin? Pedestal. Oh, pedestal. Truck. Dolly. Focus on your subject matter. It is hump day, folks. Subject matter is the key. Content is queen, right? Hey, what's up? How is it going, my boy? How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Welcome to the Real Marcoux. Looks like everything's going all right over here. Yo, lots of headroom today. How's it going? Yeah, we'll work on that headroom a little bit. Adjust my book a little bit. Okay, there we go. What's going on, Tap of Film? What's going on, film majors? We're gonna join today live for some extra credit on a virtual collaboration. How is it going? Yesterday you got to see me like totally bust out some copyright infringement like crazy. It was fun. That was fun. Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Showed you guys some stuff. It was quite the hurricane show, I must say. It was going on quite crazily. I got one viewer. That's cool. I'll work with it. Super 8 film camera. Film is the place to be. Hey, I watched a cool documentary last night. It's up on Netflix called LA Originals. Ooh, that was really fascinating. Really fascinating flick. If you liked the Pull Up LA film that I showed you guys off of Amazon, so if you want to watch Pull Up LA about the movement out there in LA for photographers and stuff like that, you will definitely like LA Originals because it's about a couple of real sages from the 90s, tattoo artist by the name of Mr. Cartoon. We used to do some crazy tats, tatted up all the great celebrities, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Blink 182. Just about everybody's got their tat from Mr. Cartoon, so that was really fantastic. And then also Estevan Oriel, I believe, fantastic photographer who really was a directorial master back in the day, and he used to just shoot film. You know, all he did was shoot film all day, and that captured this kind of grit, this kind of really fascinating ability he had to capture a specific look that artists loved, so they would always just hire that guy, you know, and he's a phenomenal artist. But check out LA Originals on Netflix if you got it. It's a really awesome film about, you know, LA back in the day, showing some kind of gang related stuff that's interesting, and getting a real portrait of LA at the time. So getting a little close to the camera. Sorry about that. Sorry if you have to see the bags under my eyes. Happy Earth Day. Happy Earth Day, guys. You know, plant a tree, get outside. It's not as dismal today, so you can actually kind of enjoy it. And, you know, it's important. You know, one thing about this whole isolation and confinement and not so much traveling going on in the US and stuff like that, It's actually, I think the Earth is like taking a sigh of relief. It doesn't have so many like carbons entering the atmosphere. So actually, we're getting a chance to see, views we've never seen because the cloud cover isn't like full of smog. So I think the Earth is taking a breath of fresh air while we're in isolation. So you got to look at some of the positives of this whole distance learning and distance social distancing thing is a big positive. We've been kind of adding a little bit extra carbon to the atmosphere through our time. And, as humans, we are kind of gluttons when it comes to like, oh, yeah, feed me, feed me, feed me. But we forget about what we're excreting into the environment. So, got to look at the positives sometimes. It's tough, you know. Happy hump day. Yo, what's up, Goat Sage? What is up? Believe I know who you are. Not quite sure, but that's all right. It's all good. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream, bro. So here at our virtual live class, you can see I have up on the YouTube, I put a really interesting piece of technology, the video sphere, back in, the 1970s by JVC. Sphere television. Pretty fantastic, a little futurist, right? Futurism is a movement as well. We have a lot of people tend to jump onto futurism nowadays. Everyone's kind of coining their version of futurism these days. Also, futurism existed far back in the early 1900s. It was a result of cubism. It was a result of maybe not surrealism, but a little bit of expressionism, impressionism, and it was part of the Industrial Revolution. So artists were kind of fascinated by this Industrial Revolution, so they started making work that was showing the progress of man or woman, and in their art using abstraction to kind of show this progression, which in a way got kind of coined by a lot of propagandists and used in the dark arts to try to like provoke people to believe in certain ideals and ideas. But futurism has existed for a long time. Look up Vasily Kandinsky. He was a fantastic futurist back in the day, really created some fantastic work, some phenomenal abstractions that really led the way into abstract expressionism. So if you're thinking about like trying to pick a kind of art form to join for your concentration, look up art history. I posted a few things in a few ums this morning. Posted a few things with some art history. I was just playing around with some Egyptian hieroglyphs and a scarab and some pictures I took at some museums, and I just kind of layered them. I was just experimenting, really, just to see what I could create, if I could create some like kind of new ideas. Again, here's that magic lantern, right, with the zoetrope at the top of it, one of our first projectors of the early 1900s. So I thought that was a pretty fascinating thing to show. But I'm just going to play in the background. I have this kind of piece called Streamscapes. I made a lot of scapes back in the day, but this is a little bit of a river back in my hometown that I crawled off into the woods and then captured this kind of stream going down, a little bit of a toxic stream. In fact, I'm sure there's a lot of toxins that have entered this thing from the industrial town up there. But I really like water rhythms. I like to capture water rhythms. I find that they're so evocative and surreal and dreamlike. And, you get the glistening off of the reflections and the shallow depth of field shots. One exploration that you could be doing is shallow depth of field. You could be focusing on trying to open up your aperture and zooming in on your lens to capture this kind of bokeh, a Japanese word that meant the softness in that depth of field, right? So if you get close to your subject, and you focus on it, everything else looks blurred, and it kind of creates this kind of sense of isolation. So it's a kind of fun way to play around with different techniques, depth of field. And anyways, you could also play around with follow focus. So like focusing from one subject to the next to try to move the eye of your viewer from a certain subject to another subject. And sometimes it's good to like go from one subject, focus on that subject, then focus on the back subject, and then you've moved the viewer's eyes to that other part of the composition. So that's a perfect opportunity to either cut or show something else on that side of the frame. Or if you're trying to surprise somebody, maybe like, get their attention over here on the right side of the frame, and then focus to the other side. You've moved their eye to the left side of the frame, and then all of a sudden, boom, something shows up over here, and it surprises us because we were looking over here, but then all of a sudden something comes off in that corner, and we get surprised by it. So a little bit of trick on like a jump scare or something like that. If you want to be a little bit more sophisticated, watch some Guillermo del Toro films. He does a great job of playing with composition to like lead your eyes and then shock you on the other side and stuff like that. I might be looking over here, and then all of a sudden, in comes Oscar's friend Emmy, or I might look over here and then, hey, what's going on? Oh my goodness! Oh, you didn't come in all the way, Oscar. I wasn't sure, so I was looking over there. You might have like looked over here, and then that gave me a chance to play a trick on this side of the frame. Right? As filmmakers, we are magicians, so we have to play like sleight of hand with things. And so as this streamscapes is kind of rolling off, you get the chance to see that flicker, oftentimes flares and softness, tends to look really good in a bokeh, right? Um, but I did want to show some of the work that came in overnight. I had a couple excellent countdowns that came in for the Real Distant Countdown. I have, if I could pull it up right away. Yeah, we got, shout out to the Real Fronlism, always making excellent work. So he did this piece based on apples, right? And you could see, let's see what he's got here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Using this kind of tabletop setup, shooting down on the tabletop like a bird's eye view. Very flat, very like, I forget what they call those table shots. Oftentimes you'll see cameras or something like that. A flat, right? A flat shot, I guess. It is rather flat when you really look at straight down on something. Hey, honey. Oh, whoa, that's an old school battery. Did you find that outside?
Oh, it was in a walkie-talkie. It's a dead one.
Oh, dead walkie-talkie. We got to work on that, folks. Check out that old battery. Thanks, the real Juna. I love you. And anyways, yeah, so I really like that flat composition. I love what you're doing with the apples. I tend to think that you're oftentimes using these objects in a very interesting way. It's quite minimalist. Minimalism is another art form that you could look up. Look up ready-mades, Marcel Duchamp. You'll get a chance to see a lot of different minimalism. In fact, they were kind of coining the minimalist movement, where he took a toilet, he flipped it on its head, and he signed it, and he called it art. Okay, well, that's just one item, but he's changed our perception of it by flipping it upside down and signing it, right? Ooh, I got the real Jovan. What's up, man? I got to give you some love on the YouTube. Yeah, let's go back. I want to show you real quick. We got the real Jovan up here. And by the way, you did an excellent job with the butterfly piece. I like how his hair creates this cloud cover. And I'm so excited that you're jumping into your effect zone, right? Because your concentration pieces were off the wall inspiring. Flat out, straight up, all right? I was really excited early on in your concentration work when you started to like blend things together and started to play with abstraction in a video format. That was oh, you got another battery for me? Ooh, another battery. Ooh, yeah, Energizer. But I was really excited to see your abstraction. So think about like how you could potentially like bring together these abstractions, whether it be still or maybe animation or maybe something like abstract and maybe some kind of experience over some beats that inspire you. I think that would be a great direction for your work. But this piece truly inspired me. And let me know on the feed, who is this, man? I was looking up all these butterfly videos because it is quite the trend nowadays in modern day rap. This butterfly effect, Travis Scott did it, Playboy Cardi, everyone's got a butterfly beat these days. But yeah, I love it. It's like, speak no evil kind of voice, and then he's got like kind of these butterfly hands that are forming over his face, but then he creates this cloud cover by repeating this face over and over and over again into like the spiral formation, and then you throw black and white on it, or it originally was black and white, but that's okay, so we're getting a chance to see this chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is an Italian word that means the contrast between darkest dark and brightest bright. So oftentimes it means contrast, but chiaroscuro is an excellent technique to involve, and that could be concentration. Thinking about contrast. It's a great way to go. Guys, we're 14 minutes in, folks. Real psyched about the live collaboration today. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the real Ray. Shout out to the real Kevin. Shout out to the real Goat Sage. Shout out to the real Jovan. Fantastic. I'm so amped about my seniors this year. They have fantastic ideas, and we're going to see some banging stuff come out of the pipeline this year. We're going to do some online film festivals as well. I'm going to get started with that just so I can get the ball rolling, but look for it to like explode into like this phenomenal virtual experience that we're going to have later on in the year. A little tease. Whoa, he's bigger. Hey, get out of my way. I like being in the front. My name is Emmy, and I have a weird accent that I can't quite describe. Yeah, well, I'm stealing the show now. And I'm getting a little closer. And I'm getting a little farther. Maybe we'll have a dance party later, guys. I don't know if I can dance. Well, get out of here. You speak like Viking dude, actually. Yeah, I gotta work on this voice. Okay. Whatever. We'll chill out with Oscar. Hey, it's my show. Yeah, okay, it's your show, buddy. I get it. You're so domineering. Anyways, I want to give a real shout out to the Real You Set did some fantastic. Whoa, I hate gray screens. The Real You Set did some fantastic work on his Real Distant Countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he's playing around with some crazy effects. So look up apps that you can play with and break them. What I love about this is he does this color effect that really helps with distracting you from the actual effect that's going on, right? So, he's doing this wipe effect that's clearly some kind of app effect that he's playing with, but he's made it his own, right? And with the color transitions, the seizure type of feel that we're getting from the color transition, it really like kind of does a great job of enhancing the illusion of his effect where he kind of wipes himself away. I wish I could do that right now, so that way you wouldn't have to watch or hear me for a moment. Maybe I got a special guest on here. Perhaps I should have like, I don't know, one of your favorite rappers take over for me. Yeah, I don't have money for that though. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, so shout out the Real You Said. I really like that piece. Check him out on the IG. Yo, shout out real quick to the Purple Step. If you're looking for people to subscribe to the Purple Step. This guy's been doing the streaming stuff longer than perhaps all of us. He's got quite a following, and yeah, give him some support because you know what, he's doing some phenomenal work out there in the gaming live streaming game, and it looks like he's really excited about what's happening up on his Twitch channel. So yeah, shout out to you, real quick shout out. Apologies if you don't want a shout out from this guy. Whatever. Hey, let's play some beats. I'm getting a lot of copy infringement flags because I haven't been, I try to talk over the beats when I play them so that way the algorithms won't catch on to it, but it wasn't working, especially for French Montana. That's all right. I'm not making any money. I'm not monetized or anything like that, and I don't plan to do that because this is for educational purposes only, which gives me a little bit of ability with copyright infringement. At least it should. Push copyright, push parody, push your ability, your right to freedom of press, parody your political figures and all that. That is our freedom of speech. We need to empower ourselves with that and push it if it's not. If you feel like if we're losing that, we need to push even harder against it. Read 1984, George Orwell, if you're looking for a good book about like kind of newspeak and thought police. Very interesting stuff. Anyways, I got to move forward a little bit. Hey, why don't we I could show you guys some fireworks later on, but it is Earth Day, so I did want to show you guys a little bit of time lapse. Here's a time lapse I took up in Acadia, Maine. If you're looking for a great place to camp, Acadia is a little far, but it's really spectacular up there. 6-hour drive, but there's some really cheap campgrounds. You can make a really fun time out of that, particularly for you seniors who I know you guys are going to be looking for a release. It'd be cool if you guys all got together, took a campground out in Acadia. Hell, my family will be probably camping right beside you because we love Acadia. It's fantastic. No one's out there, and the stars are just, the sky is so clear. But you can see these kind of time lapses that I captured. Sometimes I like to just capture time lapses of shadows on trees. Sometimes the most inanimate objects, can be time lapsed. You time lapse your room as you clean it. that can be an interesting time lapse to play with. I know most phones have an interval feature or a time lapse feature. So yeah, I just captured like the way the light was changing during golden hour in this birch forest, and I thought it was really fascinating the flicker of the light. So that can be a cool thing, especially on an Earth Day. Earth Day, get outside, looks like the sky's a little blue. It's a real good opportunity to get out there and take some experimental shots. Just experiment. These things don't have to be final. We're literally creating sketches with our iPhones or smartphones or droids or whatever. Experiment with the framing. I find that it's useful to use the iPhone, even in professional applications. If you go on a location scout with a producer or something, they want to shoot a movie with you. Well, have your phone ready and be able to take those shots and be like, hey, is this the shot you want? Is that the shot you want? And then you go home and you write down all those shots. Okay, extreme close up, wide shot, Dutch angle, oh, pan shot, tilt shot. You write all that down. And then when you go with the big boy camera, you're all set. You know what your shots are. You even know how to frame it and compose it, but now you have a doper camera that you can kind of like mess with the focus and all this stuff. So, you know, if anything, treat this as a big video sketchbook. It's fantastic application for that. It is Earth Day. Keep missing stuff that I want to go over. We are 20 minutes in, folks. I'm going to try to keep these a little shorter so that way I can maintain retention. Let's play some beats. I want to play a beat. Shout out to the real. Oh yeah, some time lapses. Ooh, yeah. Maybe we'll play that in the background while we play this killer beat my boy Real Reed created. I don't know if you can hear it. What is this music? Right here. This is Reed's beat right here. Shout out to the Real Reed. Trying to get batteries. I have a battery in here somewhere. See, there is stuff in here. Here, try that battery out. Maybe that battery works. Check out the YouTube. You can see some starscapes. There's some pretty fantastic stuff happening there. I love this beat though, right guys? Yeah, Judith's nodding. Strips of paper. Alright, well that was a fun little interlude. I want to get back at it because we got about, trying to keep these trying to work on the format, trying to make it a little better. Give me suggestions on other streams that you would like to do. I'm interested in maybe doing the real late or doing some other stuff. We'll see where it goes. But I really appreciate anybody's participation or ideas, suggestions. That keeps me going. That's going to make the show even better. But I'll just do what I do. I'm persistent. I'm not going to quit. That's for sure. Even as bad as this could get, bad, backwards, Marcoux, I don't care because I find it's useful, I don't care because I think I'm great. No, I don't, right? But I'm trying to give you guys useful stuff, everything from art history. Check out my story feeds. I'm trying to give you guys exposure to stuff you might not have ever heard of. In fact, while we're going over this, I did want to go over, because some of you guys might be thinking about what the hell can I do? What the heck can I do? I'm doing terrible on code switches. Give me a suggestion if you want a code switch of the day. But yeah, I do a lot of drawing, right? And I'm always coming up with these different concepts and stuff like that. I love to sketch, whether it be a ballpoint pen or a pencil. I create these really wild, kind of surreal faces, a little scary, a little demonic, a little veiny, that guy on the bottom. But I wanted to show you guys some storyboard work. So, I'm really inspired by my brother-in-law, the great John Kemp. And not to say anything bad about anything, but he has Down syndrome. Um, he has Down syndrome. but he's a fantastic dude. You can see I put his gold medal from the Special Olympics on, and he likes to carry these billy clubs, and he always has his flip phone, his cell phone going on. He's always wearing these boots. So I kind of made a character out of him, you know, because I wanted to do this film with him that I was going to potentially try to get funding for. And then I started designing this storyboard, right? I started coming up with concepts, you know, where he was kind of like walking down. You can see I show the different iterations, walking down that location that I was showing you yesterday. And then he's kind of walking around. I show that arrow to show the direction that he's going to walk. I also have this silhouette shot over here. And then I have a leading shot over here. And then I show, not quite sure, but he's entering some kind of like doorway or something. I don't know what that is quite, because it's been a while ago. But then, you know, I see the extreme close-up on his eyes. And then I see like this character off in the distance, right? Maybe, oh no, that's him walking towards us and then walking out, right? So I'm showing the choreography of where he's going to go, right? And then, oh, I like these ones because these are a little bit more detailed. I'm starting to get into it. You know, so he's walking down that bike path. He's walking through this tunnel. We see him in the tunnel, and it's like he's dark, right? Then all of a sudden he's flipping his head. He's like, "What the heck is that?" And you see his eyes, right? His eyes are kind of like, "What's going on?" And then he glances over, and there's this character, and I love this shot right here. You know, you see it with the billy club. He's doing this kind of like turn move with his billy club because he's about to fight this kind of demonic nemesis, right? And then we go into that actual fight sequence, right? So he's in the tunnel swinging around with his billy club, swinging around, looking around. He doesn't know quite what he's fighting. You know, he's fighting kind of this shadow character, right? He doesn't know what the heck is going on. Something is floating around him and buzzing him, and he's just like looking around wondering what is he fighting, right? And then, right, he picks up the phone, and my late mother-in-law, shout out to the late real Lynn Kemp, we love you, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Johnny, where are you?" And he's like, "Hold on." He's like, something's going on here. And he's like flipping around, and he's fighting this invisible, almost like a ghost character. He's fighting it, and he's not sure. He's just swinging back and forth. And then and then his mother's yelling at him on the phone, like, "Johnny, you need to come home," you know? And then he keeps going. He goes down, right? That he gets out of this fight, and he's like, "What the hell just happened?" Right? And he's walking down. He's walking past the reeds. He's keep going down this bike path, right? And then he goes onto this boardwalk, and all of a sudden, the reeds are blowing, and he jumps onto the boardwalk. He's walking down the boardwalk, right? So I have a lot of follow shots, a lot of leading shots. So following being behind and leading being ahead of someone and walking backwards as the camera person. A lot of stuff like that happening. And he's kind of, you know, he's looking around. This is a cool OTS shot, an over the shoulder shot. And all of a sudden you're seeing the point of view of his nemesis looking through the reeds at him, right? And then you see an extreme close up. This is an interesting one. This is like an effect shot I wanted to do where the reeds open on their own. And then then something jumps out of the reeds, invisible, and passes him by across the boardwalk. He turns his head, and then he like looks off into the reeds. He's like, "What the hell was that?" And then I have this, bird's eye view of him walking on the boardwalk down there, right? Like this creature is taunting him, right? Again, with the point of view from that creature looking through the reeds at him, right? The reeds open. It's an OTS. There's his head. The reeds open. Extreme close up to the eyes. Great climatic moment. And then the reeds open, and this creature darts past him. He's ready to fight, right? And then I break it down into these little storyboards because this is quite a quick action scene, right? You can see the reeds over here. This creature keeps bouncing out of the reeds and attacking him. And then eventually I think he defeats it. I don't know. I'm a little bit fuzzy on it. But then he walks down the bike path home. And again, his mother is talking to him on the phone. "Where the hell are you? Where have you been?" You know, and it's kind of a little inconclusive right there. But yeah, that was that piece. So I developed that storyboard. And again, they could be thumbnails. They're not perfect, right? But I know what they are. And that's the important part. You could use stick figures, whatever. and you get a kind of a concept rolling. So within this concentration, I'm giving you guys these short pieces to do. You could be building up towards a larger structure film. You might be thinking about like one big story arc, or you might be thinking about personifying different objects and thinking about them as your characters throughout these pieces. And that way you're building towards something. But, you can also be treating it as an abstraction. You could be treating it as an exploration of how far you can push yourself, or trying something new, or exploring cubism, surrealism, impressionism, p- pop art, whatever. Getting out there and just trying new things is very important as an artist. The different skill sets that you develop through time are going to make you more and more valuable on a production set, because as you know, on a production set, it's important that everyone has like different things to bring to that collaboration, so that way we're innovating something, we're innovating live streaming, we're innovating whatever. Hey, if you guys have any requests, feel free to drop them on me. I know there's not much happening on the YouTube right now, but try to give you guys some more content. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, so I showed you guys some. This is a magic lantern, right? And then there was that experimentation that I did with art history, Egyptian hieroglyphs and scarabs, and this that was like a giant whale shark bone that I put in there, and I repeated it multiple times, and then I faded it. I used opacity effects. If you're playing with opacity effects, don't just play with the opacity bar, play with the kind of opacity that you're playing with, because you could use multiply or overlay or lighten or screen, and they have different effects. That first thing of the magic lantern is actually like a film negative. So when film is actually exposed, the darkest parts of the frame become bright white, whereas the lighter parts of the frame become very dark, right? When you look at the negative, and then that's exposed into an actual image. So I thought that was interesting for this magic lantern treatment. Also, I've done like, these shadow puppets. Shadow puppets can be a great way to explore. I love shadow puppets, and you could tell from my own countdown that I always talk about how great it is, but I do love it. It's like this play on an overcast day. No effects going on there, just the reflections of the water, and a little bit of cropping and a small amount of color correction. Busting it down the line. There's always something that I'm missing, and I always try to bring it the next day. So keep tuning in and tell me what's going wrong with it, so that way we can explore. I'm going to play in the background some macroscapes, because I really love macro, and I love telling visual poetry. So also, April is poetry month, so check out some poetry, some Pablo Neruda perhaps, some Emily Dickinson. There's some great poets out there. Some beat poetry, Jack Kerouac. Um, what's the other guy? Allen Ginsberg. It's really fantastic. But yeah, check that stuff out. If you guys have any requests, feel free to hit me in the thread. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Got quite the following going on today. Maybe I could show you guys a few more things from my sketchbook I did want to share. Let's see. Oh, I like this guy right here. Kind of like this twisted dude. Oh, people are fighting in the background. I like doing these kind of action poses and stuff like that. I used to like drawing comic books a lot. So, drawing comic books really teaches you a lot about proportions of the human body. And, if you keep drawing them over and over again, then, through time, when you get to be my age, you just pump it out, because you've done it so much, you've practiced it so much, that it just is one of your skills that you can, it's one of your superpowers that you can utilize, once you do it so many times. You play with line quality, then you become a little bit of a master at these things, and you can kind of pump it out and see where you can push it. I like this guy right here, this kind of like ninja dude. Yeah, just real quick drawings. Quick. I like drawing nature, scribbling nature. Big Earth Day today. So these are trees, and I kind of abstract the leaves, because leaves are probably the most difficult thing to draw, and I could draw them if I spend a lot of time, but sometimes I like to abstract the feeling of them. The feeling of these leaves being blown around in the wind can bring something new to a landscape. I like that house. It's a pretty cool house. That's where we went this summer. We Took a flight out to Colorado, visited our great friends. Shout out to the real Allie. Shout out to the real Cora. Shout out to all those cats. They really treated us well. We did a lot of hiking and stuff like that. A lot of camping. Here's another nice tree. I try to come up with different abstractions, like what does a leaf look like through the eyes of an alien, or what do they look like through the eyes of a bee? Fascinates me. My daughter was watching this thing on dragonflies, and how dragonflies, their vision is like 360. Their eyes are so sophisticated, they could see all around their body, and then they have these independently flying wings and stuff. Dragonflies really fascinate me. And I have a piece over here showcasing some of those dragonflies. Let's see if I can pull it up for you on YouTube. A little soft today, compared to yesterday. I was like blowing out the water when it came to the crazy tidalscapes. I think that's it. Let's take a peek. Can't hit the space bar. I hate seeing black screens for too long. Ooh, there's tidalscapes, but I think it was motionscapes as well. Let's see if I could pull it up. But I'll just go with this. We'll just go with the tidal flow, right? A little slow motion. That's another feature you could be playing with. Slow motion could be your concentration. Jovan, that might be neat to bring forward. Take your effect attack, the skills that you've developed through opacity and stuff like that, and see what slow motion would do to it. I've been doing a lot of filming of like TV fuzz and stuff like that. So maybe that's a cool exploration. That can actually bring out some cool digital texture that you can mix and match with stuff. That might be neat. But yeah. Appreciate you guys. Big time. Probably heard me rapping yesterday. I'm a terrible rapper. Oh God. Should never do that again. Never, ever, ever. I catch a lot of flack for that, I'm sure. See if I can find some other sketches that might interest you. Yeah, sometimes I draw the action happening. Right, I show this guy punching. Always showing people punch things. I don't know why. I don't know. Kind of likes watching fighting techniques and stuff like that. Fighting techniques are often so balletic, and love filming dance or fights. Ooh, one of my favorite shoots that I did last year was this boxing match. Oh, and I was in the ring. It was sweet. That was one of my favorite gigs I've ever done. Love seeing people spar. It's quite a dynamic thing to film. You might think about in the future, what would I like to film over and over and over again for my career? Well, then focus on that. Focus on, like, what are the rules of a boxing match? What are the rules of a basketball match? Take a peek. We have film majors right now. I'm so proud of you guys. The real Brian, the real Caliph, out there, they're filming for you or I basketball. They're doing gigs that I do all the time. Except, they provide great cameras for you, and you'll learn how to operate them and zoom at a proper skill. But mainly, stay on the ball. Once you lose the ball, you got a director screaming at you. All right, that's the most important part. So if you really enjoy sports, videography and cinematography can be a great field for you and a good way to make money. Except during this time where it's like, oh my gosh, like all these events kind of ended. I've lost a lot of work. So I'm trying to figure out like different ways to create new work by pushing my skills. You never stop learning, even as old as I can be. Oh, how old this guy is. But yeah, I'm hoping that this is valuable to you guys. Let me know what future shows you would like to see, because I'm glad to entertain. I'm glad to improve, and maybe we could see some different things, happen, and maybe we can innovate what we're doing with OBS software. If you guys are interested in live streaming or creating your own show, I'll tune in. I don't have to be involved, I could be just supporting you technically. Down to host anything as well. Not like I'm your host of your show and killing your coolness or whatever like that, but I mean technically I can support that, so I've learned a lot about OBS software, and shout out to the Real Purple Step. I'm sure he could show us a lot more, but join us. And yeah, so anyways, try to stay consistent, try to be persistent. Let's show you guys some fireworks. Oh, fireworks are always fun. Let's take a peek at these. Ooh, wow, this is yeah. Whoa, explosions going on. This was in upstate New York, deep in the woods, with these crazy fools. Oh my God! Shout out the real trench. Whoa. Way too many. Way too many. Uh-oh. Be safe out there, folks. There's the control center. Oh boy. It's going down. These guys went all in. My daughters absolutely loved it, though. Be safe out there. Fireworks are illegal to buy, but yo, make sure you know what you're doing. Definitely don't just start, oh, these guys, what's in that cup? I don't know. Put it together. Well, it's going to go down. It's going down. You got to capture the things that are happening around you. Sometimes there's exciting things happening that will never exist again. So you need to capture it. It's kind of our responsibility. But, no sweat if you miss it. But, oh man, this looks like a war zone. I was capturing a lot of this in slow motion as well. Turn this down a little bit. Maybe you can hear my voice. Yeah. But yeah, some exciting stuff. Fun to shoot fireworks, particularly in slow motion. Slow motion can add a lot to things that we are only seeing pass us by a little too quickly. Life passes you by very quickly. So, make sure you absorb every moment of it. You might think, oh man, what is wrong with the world? Or, how can we move forward in a progressive way or stuff like that? But, sometimes you just got to absorb the moment. Be here right now, be in the future and the past at the same time, traverse the chaotic world and try to find a path. Today's a great day to absorb the present, going outside on Earth Day and meditating perhaps, and trying to listen to the trees and listen to the wind. The wind is quite crazy these days, but listen to it. Maybe it's telling us something. You never know. And you find great inspiration in sometimes the most mundane things, and sometimes the smallest details, the most macro details, become these large worlds that can expand our minds. And I know I sound like I'm talking crazy, but find some of my greatest inspirations just like kind of sitting and listening sometimes. Or sometimes if I'm thinking too far on one particular subject, maybe I say, you know what, Marcoux, you need to think about the opposite of what you're thinking, and see what that does to your concentration. This is all about. How do we concentrate on our artwork? How do we innovate it? And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's only a balanced way to approach your balance of control. Backwards in chaos. Yo. It's not a very exciting show. Sometimes it's fun to throw these things up there while the fireworks are happening. Oh, I think this needs like a gel or something like that because it is quite intense. I like using it as an edge light. The other day it was kind of in the other direction. I'll try it over here today. Ooh. Creates a little bit of an edge, a little softer edge. Kind of messing around. Let's see if we angle it a little bit. See, little adjustments go a long way sometimes. Oh my God, I blinded myself watching those fireworks off. Give you guys some. Play a little beat. I'll drop that beat again because I love it. I love my boy James Reed, my best friend. Miss you, buddy. It's blasted. I'm not gonna rap over these beats. No way. No way. Wouldn't do justice. Maybe one of you guys will. Shout out to the real Rashawn. I sent you some of these beats. He said, yo, use them up. See that. Yeah, we'll provide some beats for you. Need a beat? That's all about it. battery! Angle. Put up that battery. Angle. Angle. What's up, friendlism? Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's create some shadows. Ooh, this is gonna be fun still. Play around. Yeah, I'm getting inspired, guys. I don't know. There we go. All tense over there. Maybe we'll do a little gel. Oh, there's my gel. One moment, guys. Here I come. Oh, yeah. I'm waiting to use this one. See if that does it. Let's try that. Uh-oh. 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 Reed, this is going down, bud. Kind of lost it. Lost the effect. Crazy. I like these guys, like, kind of staggered there. Dope beat. You guys want another one? No? That's alright. You guys have really paid attention today. Really appreciate you guys. Maybe I'll drop another beat for you tomorrow. I don't know. That was kind of fun. Got a little abstract. Hopefully gives you guys some ideas. Feel free to send me some messages. Let me know what's going on. Oh my god, look at that. Whoa. Uh-oh. I gotta let you guys go, though. I got another meeting going on. Feel free to tune in anytime. I'll be live again tomorrow. I think we have Friday off, so tomorrow will be the last chance this week to check us out. But I'm persistent. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop for you guys. And I look forward to seeing all your real distant definitions, right? That's the new assignment. The real distant definition. Define a word, 10 seconds. Let's see it. I want to see what you guys got. Bring it. Oh my god, what a nose. That's one thing about Marcoux. He's got a huge French nose. What? Look at that nose. It's nuts. Yo. Anyways, try to get a nice shot before I go. We'll see. No, the nose is too big. Not gonna get a nose job. Can't afford it. Wouldn't get a nose job anyways. Gotta love your imperfections. Watch. I'm gonna knock him over with my nose. Oh, this guy's tough. Emmy's tough. Oh. Okay.